Welcome to Techstination. Joining us is Kevin Cornell, the CEO and founder of a company called Voosh, Voosh. Thanks for joining us, Kevin.
Oh, my pleasure, Fred.
Give us some background about Voosh, what you're all about.
Well, Voosh's job is to go out and try and reclaim the lost performance on Windows PCs. We come from a technical background where we were doing that for servers in the enterprise world. And what we're doing now is we're applying that same technology and approach to desktops for people that are working from home.
And you're using a degree of artificial intelligence. Tell us, what are some of the things that you can do with your software?
We start with taking a look at how the computer itself is integrating with the network. So if you've got a Windows PC and it's attached to a LAN, and that LAN is then attached to some type of carrier, and then at the other end of the carrier is whoever you're talking to. So what we do is from a purely Windows perspective, sitting on your desktop, is how that computer system is interacting with the LAN and the wide area network and how it's passing data back and forth. We then extend that optimization technique into also how it's using the CPU, the memory, the disk I/O, and even we float up into the application layer and say, well, how's that application interacting with the operating system? And we take all that information and then we apply the physics of data manipulation and data handling and data movement, and we apply algorithms that, hopefully make everything run a lot better. In terms of the artificial intelligence, there's a lot of information that we're gathering. It's all performance-related information. It's nothing to do with individual information on who you are. It's all performance and settings and operating systems. And since we have all that data, we can then take a look at it and say, well, based upon the physics that we've applied, what makes the best sense in this situation? And that's the AI side of it, applying, if you will, heuristics over and above on top of the physics of the optimization.
Now, you mentioned that you run on the Windows platform, but how far back can you go? There are people who are trying to get by with older PCs. Many people have newer ones. What kinds of differences are they going to see if they utilize Voosh?
You should see about a 30% overall improvement, but some of the networking, we've seen some very big jumps, 3 to 4 to 5 times as fast. Now, our system runs on Windows 7, Windows 8, and the Windows 10, so we can optimize those operating systems. The core technology itself can actually go back to XP and Vista, except we haven't seen anybody really running that, and our user interface has to be modified to incorporate that to show the changes. The actual optimization will do it, but again, we can't show the changes. And so we actually haven't ported the UI, the user interface, past older than Windows 7. So we do Windows 7, 8, and 10.
So is the software continuously running in the background?
It is. We do an actual optimization chronologically about every 5 hours. So we set it up every 5 hours, schedule it, and put it into the queue to do the optimization. So it's not exactly at 5 hours. It's when it gets hit in the queue. Or if something event-driven happens. For example, you take your PC and you go to Starbucks, or you take your PC and you go to a different location. The system in the background is watching for that, and if it sees that, it'll wake up and it'll optimize for the new environment.
Interesting. Now, if it's running in the background, some people are going to wonder, okay, doesn't that take away from some of the performance on the PC?
It does, but it's a very light load, and we always give a net improvement. So, if we're doing an optimization in the background and it's running as a service, so it's running as a lower priority than everything that you're going to see. So it's not going to affect the performance that the user is going to see. It'll if you will, run between the raindrops. It'll be in the background using the cycles that are not being used by the app. But net, if you've got 3 or 4% of your CPU and you're able to recover 30%, you've got a net improvement of 27%, and that's the way we look at it.
Well, tell us what your advantages are over your competition. You do have some competitors in this space.
No one actually does it the way that we actually do it. In other words, we're gathering 400 or 500 data points and applying the physics of how it's supposed to be done. So a lot of people that say that they do optimization, what they're really doing is doing cache cleaning. Where they're taking some of the caches and flushing it. They're doing some disk defragmentation and maybe cleaning up the registry. We don't do any of that. Ours is simply taking the books that are written on how to optimize a computer, written on the physics of computer optimization, and applying that remotely. So we're taking, a manual process and automating it. You can do exactly what we're doing if you did it manually. The difference would be it would take you maybe 2 days to get to the same points with the same configuration sets to make it run as fast as we can do it. And the difference is that we can actually do, it takes us 40 seconds to do it, and we can do 500 at a time.
And are people going to see more of an improvement with newer computers that have more horsepower?
It's one of those things that your results may vary. So everybody should see some improvement, and some, even the newer ones, the newest ones that you can see, get some improvement. We had a gaming blogger, and he had his wife's computer, which is an older one, Windows 10, but older, and that she wasn't really using that much because she didn't like the performance. And then he had his, which was water cooled. I mean, a real high-end gaming computer, and hers had it ran about 3 times faster. He said his wife had not been using it, and all of a sudden it breathed new life into it. It was wonderful. And now his gaming computer, water cooled, that really ran fast, saw a 60% improvement. Which, here's an individual that has the fastest computer. He configured it, and he also tuned it because he writes blogs on how to do that. Liran Segev, and he goes by the name of the Tech Guy. And he's still got a 60% improvement using our software. So results may vary, but they all should be one level of better.
And you do let people try this out for free, right?
Oh, absolutely. We let them download it, full function, 7 days. You'll see the gauges. You can see it for yourself. And we don't ask for email addresses, credit cards, or anything like that. If at the end of 7 days you decide, hey, this is something that I want to buy, then we'll engage on a commercial basis. But up until then, have at it. See what you like it. And even if you've got our gauges say that it's a 200 to 300% improvement, and you don't see that in whatever you're doing because it doesn't utilize the areas we optimize. Well, then maybe it's not right for you. We just think people should try it and make it available. And if you like it, buy it. And if you don't, well, no harm, no foul.
How does the pricing work?
It's a subscription-based pricing, so it's monthly, 6 months, or annually. And I won't go with the $9.97s. It's $10, $25, or $45. That's the monthly, the 6 month, and the annual price.
So it's $45 a year, and does that cover what, a single PC, or what does that cover?
That covers up to 5 in a household.
So up to 5 computers in a household, and you can cover them for $45 a year.
Yep.
This is a new edition of the software that you have arriving this week. Is that right?
Yes, we're launching it on Wednesday, and it actually came from our. Before this, I had a company that we did this for commercially. We did this for enterprise. Had a relationship with IBM and VMware and Citrix and Microsoft, and this was a product that we developed because on the server side, that's fine, but it would be also nice to see what's going on the endpoints. So we created this for those endpoints. I sold off the server side a couple of years ago, and then I saw about a year and a half ago, I think people are going to be working from home, and that endpoint thing that we kind of gave away to enterprises has value. So we created Voosh to deliver this into the consumer marketplace so people could optimize their Windows PCs, and in about 30 days, their Apple PCs as well.
So you're going to have a Mac version out fairly soon?
Absolutely. We had one, and we just haven't sort of polished it off and released it under the Voosh brand yet.
Very cool. So where do people go to buy or for more information?
VooshPerformance.com. VOOSH Performance, all one word, .com. And from there you can read up on it and download it and, try it out.
And you're thinking that more people might be working from home. That was very fortuitous, wasn't it?
You think so, wouldn't you? Yeah, we didn't see that coming, but it does seem to be happening.
Kevin Cornell, thank you so much for taking the time with us.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Now this. How many companies out there have continued to innovate when it comes to building a better radio? I'm Fred Fishkin, host of Techstination, and I'm here to tell you about the new CC Skywave SSB radio from the wonderful people at C-Crane. Bob and his crew really love radio, and it shows in this new compact model that is packed with features. Beyond great AM and FM reception and sound, you can tune into shortwave signals from around the world, listen to ham radio operators, aviation, and more. It's the radio you'll turn to every day, and in emergencies. It will run for nearly 3 days on just 2 AA batteries. Pair the sleep timer with the new Soft Speaker 3, and you've got the perfect radio for your nightstand. Of course, it can wake you up too. Click on C-Crane at Techstination.com and put in the code Techstination for a free flashlight with your order. They love radio, and you'll love C-Crane.